Honorable members, it's question hour now. Question number 166. Vivek.
So my question is not 166.
Honorable Minister. Supplementary.
Is the Finance Minister here? No. So my question to the Finance Minister through the Chairman is, because sharp depreciation of rupee against US dollars on account of aggressive monetary tightening by US Federal Reserve and spillover conflict have thrown major challenges for policymakers and the government. Indian rupee has depreciated by 7% in 2022. Continued capital outflow of US $50 billion up to September 2021 is now a reality. So the question is that the liberalized remittance scheme, which allows $250,000 per individual,
तमाम प्रयत्न कर रही है। अगर देखें तो रुपए में ही हो रही गिरावट को कम करने के लिए निम्न प्रयास किए गए हैं। एक्सटर्नल कमर्शियल बोरिंग के तहत पात्र बोरर्स को आरबीआई से संपर्क किए बिना पैसा जुटाने की अनुमति दी गई है। अब ऑटोमेटिक रूट से तहत जहां लिमिट 750 मिलियन डॉलर से बढ़ा करके 1.5 बिलियन से 2.5 बिलियन किया गया है। एनआरई का जमा राशियों का ब्याज दरों में बढ़ोतरी की अनुमति दी गई है। AD1 के लाइसेंस प्राप्त बैंकों को निर्यात के अलावा अन्य उद्देश्यों को भी एक्सटर्नल कमर्शियल बोर्डिंग की अनुमति दी गई है। जहां तक भारत में निर्यात को बढ़ावा देने के लिए कहीं न कहीं आरबीआई द्वारा रुपए का भी भुगतान आयात निर्यात में देने का निर्णय लिया गया है। सोने पर आयात शुल्क दर में बढ़ाकर 10.75 से बढ़ाकर 15% किया गया है।
Second supplementary.
Sir, even though I didn't get a reply to what I'd asked, it's a very important question for the country what I'd asked. But my second supplementary is, again, these are suggestions which would help the government. These are out-of-box suggestions. Introduction of Jan Dhan Yojana, another quick and long-term solution, can be employed in bank accounts of all blue-collared Indian remitting US $38 billion from UAE and other Gulf countries, which could directly add to the kitty of RBI Nastro account. What is happening today is millions of Indians are not allowed to remit that dollar payment to India. They go through foreign banks and the rupee payment comes to India. So if say Bank of Baroda, which is in UAE, permits these accounts to be opened, these Indians can send their own dollar payments to India, which will add 38 billion to the Indian kitty apart from the 50 billion that I've asked earlier.
Minister.
Thank you, sir. MOS is addressing the question. I quite take the suggestion given by Honorable Member Vivek Tanka. Certainly, one of the things which we like to consider, I'm not giving it as an assurance because it's more in the domain of the RBI. But there are discussions between the government and the RBI to see how best we can have various different similar such schemes through which we are able to draw foreign remittances which are directly, like the way you've said, foreign currency remittances into the accounts and so on. There has been something which the RBI has already worked on and also announced in the recent past. However, with all this said, on the value of the Indian rupee, interventions which are happening from the RBI side are more for containing volatility which is happening between Indian rupee and the dollar and so on. Even the interventions being made by RBI is not so much to determine the value, increase it or decrease it of the Indian rupee. It's not for that. It is more to avoid the volatility and allow it to find its course because it's free. India, like many other countries, is not pitching its currency at a level from extraneously. So the ways in which we want to strengthen having foreign currencies coming into India are very many, and RBI and the ministry are fairly engaged in it. I take your input But of course, for the parliamentary sake, I would want to emphasize that it is not an assurance Ministry of Finance is going to be able to give it. That's something for me to certainly pass it on to RBI now that the Honourable Member has said it.
Supplementary by Babu Ram Mishra. Babu Ram Nishad.
सभापति जी, मैं प्रश्न करना चाहता हूं। यूपीए तथा एनडीए के कार्यकाल में डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपये में गिरावट आने में क्या अंतर है?
जहां यूपी के कार्यकाल में यानी 2004 से 14 में रुपए के मूल्य में कभी किसी वर्ष में लगभग 10 से 12% की दर से गिरावट आई थी, जबकि हमारी सरकार के कार्यकाल में 8 वर्षों में यानी 14 से लेकर अब तक कि एक वर्ष में कभी 7.8 अधिकतम रहा है। वर्तमान में अमेरिकी डॉलर की तुलना में भारतीय रुपए के मूल्य में बढ़ोतरी दर लगभग 4.54% रहा है।
Sri Lujendo Falaro.
Chairman, sir, I appreciate the reply given, but the fact is, for the last 6 months, the rupee has depreciated 28 times by 34%. I was reading today's newspaper, which says it will further depreciate. And the fact is, the foreign exchange reserves has declined to US dollar 572 billion by mid-July because of pressure of costly imports of crude, oil, coal, gold, etc. This is having a very bad effect on the economy. Can the Honorable Minister assure us that something will be done immediately to arrest the collapse of a rupee? Thank you.
I would like to first of all, a very senior member has raised a very important issue. There is no collapse of the rupee. I'm just picking up on what the Honourable Member has said. Indian rupees fluctuations are more versus the dollar, the US dollar. And even there, the performance of the Indian rupee is much better than its own peers. We've withstood the impact of the US Fed's decisions much better than any other peer currencies. And actually, if you compare Indian rupee versus other currencies, it's appreciating in its value. So let us please understand the context and speak about the Indian rupee. There's no collapse, sir. Honourable Member, I would like to assure you through you, sir, there is no collapse of the Indian rupee. And also to speak about the reserves coming down. We are still somewhere in the range of 500 and let me give you what I had of this morning. As of 22nd July, it was at 571.56 billions reserves. And therefore, it's not a small amount. Yes, some, when it was in the range of 600, and now it's come down to in the range of higher ends of 500, 571 and so on, they're still comfortably placed. So I want the House to take into cognizance Indian rupees performance versus others, whether it's the US pound, UK pound and so on, and therefore contextualize India rupees performance versus the US, particularly because of the various steps which are being taken by the US Fed. So there's no collapse. It is actually finding its natural course. As I said, the RBI is continuously monitoring it and intervening only if there is volatility. RBI's intervention are not so much to fix the value of the Indian rupee because it's free to find its own course.
Pramod Tiwari.
एक सीधा सा सवाल मेरा है। देश आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, हम गर्व की बात कर रहे हैं, मान सम्मान की बात कर रहे हैं, पर मुझे याद आ रहा है 2013 में हमारे एक सम्मानित मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि जब डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपए की वैल्यू गिरती है तो देश का मान सम्मान गिरता है। तो मैं सिर्फ
क्वेश्चन रे भाई,
क्वेश्चन भी आ रहा है सर, थोड़ा बनाना पड़ता है। तो सर मैं सिर्फ सीधा एक सवाल पूछूं। अमृत महोत्सव में अमृत महोत्सव में क्या समाप्त होने के पहले डॉलर रुपए के मुकाबले प्रधानमंत्री जी की उम्र से नीचे आ जाएगा या नहीं आ जाएगा? ये सीधा सवाल है।
प्रधानमंत्री will not go on record. Only the question you have to reply. It will not go on. It's irrelevant.
सर माननीय प्रमोद प्रमोद तिवारी जी बहुत सीनियर है, वरिष्ठ है। मैं उनको याद दिलाना चाहती हूँ कि जब माननीय मुख्यमंत्री गुजरात तब की इंडियन करेंसी के ऊपर उनके अपने बयान दिए, इसलिए दिए कि बाकी सभी पैरामीटर्स के ऊपर भी भारत देश का हालात बहुत गंभीर परिस्थिति में आ गए, फ्रजाइल 5 में ले आए, इकोनॉमी फ्रजाइल 5 में एक हो गया था। सुनिए ना, जवाब तो सुनना चाहिए ना, प्लीज जवाब सुनिए, क्योंकि मैं प्रश्नों को ध्यान से सुनती हूं और जवाब देने के लिए कष्ट करती हूं, कोशिश करती हूं, मेरी जिम्मेदारी मानती हूं। सो प्लीज मेहरबानी करके सुनिए। तब की मुख्यमंत्री गुजरात और अब की प्रधानमंत्री जी तब ये बयान देने का कारण क्या है? इकोनॉमी में डबल डिजिट इन्फ्लेशन 22 महीने तक चला और कोई रुकावट नहीं था उसमें। फ्रजाइल 5 इकोनॉमी हो गया था उस समय और भारत देश का इकोनॉमिक सिर्फ वो टेपर ट्रांटम के वजह से इतना गंभीर हालत पहुंचे। आज देख लीजिए, पैंडेमिक है, पैंडेमिक से रिकवरी है, सेकेंड वेव है, ओमिक्रॉन है, यूक्रेन रशिया वॉर है, पूरे दुनिया के सप्लाई चेन टप पड़ा हुआ है। भारत देश का करेंसी अभी बरकरार और स्ट्रांग रह रही है, उसको ध्यान रखिए अमृतकाल में।
क्वेश्चन नंबर 167। मिनिस्टर,
भी है, हमारी करेंसी गिर गई।
सप्लीमेंट्री।
Thank you, sir. Sir, the states have been continuously demanding the union government to bring the proceeds of the cesses and surcharges into the divisible pool so that the states will get a greater share of devolution from the center's net proceeds in order to meet their own social, human development and infrastructure commitments. I would like to know from the Honorable Finance Minister whether the union government shares its income from cesses and surcharges with the state governments to uphold cooperative federalism, and what prevents the union government in sharing the income generated through the cesses and surcharges with the state governments.
Sir, let me go back for a minute. At the time of introduction of GST, the union government collected cesses, nearly 18 of them were also subsumed into the GST. So, literally, if 18 cesses went off into the GST, they are also getting divided according to the GST formulation. But post that, there are cesses certainly being collected. And cesses are spent through the states. The union government doesn't have anything with it, having collected the cess. So what are the cesses that we're talking about? The health education cess, secondary education cess, meaning primary, secondary education cess, health cess, which is they're combined, the GST compensation cess, and the road and infrastructure cess. I've given the details in the answer, so it's already on the table, so I wouldn't want to read every one of the numbers. But what I would like to draw the honorable member's attention is, for instance, between 2010-11 onwards to 22-23 on up to 23, the primary education cess plus secondary education cess plus health education cess. If 4,54,659 is the collection in crores, 460,158, much more than what was collected, has been spent on primary education related matters. And how does this go, sir? Union government, either through its budget or the collected cesses, goes through the cess central sector schemes and centrally sponsored schemes. They all go to the states. So the education related cess has actually had 5,498 crores in addition to what has been collected, spent on those particular stated objectives for which the cess is collected. So, collect the cess, what are you doing with it? You share it with the states. More than what has been collected as cess has been spent, and that is spent through the states. One. Second, sir, GST compensation is a cess which the GST Council has decided, and it is collected. Even there, this from the central kitty, we've added only because we wanted to make sure that the money reaches the states earlier. Whilst the collected cess was a certain amount, utilization is certain other, the excess added, because utilization is more than what was collected, is 38,223 crores. More than what has been collected has been spent as compensation under the GST. And the last one, sir, which I would like to place on the table of the House, is the road and infrastructure cess. The estimated collection was going to be 1,13,000, am I reading this right? 1 minute, please. 11,36,951 is what has been collected. 11,31,980 is what is being utilized, because the collection has come down as a result of reduction in the excise duty collection on petrol and diesel. So there is a negative of 4,970 in the road and infrastructure cess, the differential between collection and utilization, but we are committed to fill that amount in as well. So everything and more than everything that is collected as the cess is spent through the states, for the states, and if there are gaps, the center fills it up.
Second supplementary.
Sir, though the proceeds and cesses and surcharges are not shared with the states, the share as percentage of gross tax revenue has been doubled from 6.26% in 2010-11 to 16.89% in 2021-22. With the current trend, it will cross 20% by 2024. The levy on the account of assesses and surcharges was rupees 3,72,971 crore during the years of 2021 and 21-22. Despite an increase from rupees 49,628 crore in 2010 and 2011 to 3,74,471 crore in 2021, the benefits do not flow down to the states, as these are not included in the divisible pool. If the entire cess and the surcharges are shared with the states, then the states would get an additional kitty of rupees 1,53,533 crore. That is 41% of 3,74,471 crore. The states are constrained to generate new resources. It is imperative to bring in a constitutional amendment to include these cesses and surcharges to the divisible pool. Whether the union government is willing to bring in a constitutional amendment to share the cesses and surcharges with the state governments, I would like to hear an affirmative statement from the Honorable Finance Minister in this regard. Thank you, sir.
I think I've answered the question earlier, sir.
Yes, your answer was detailed. It is answered already. Supplementary by Dr. V. Sivadasan.
Of the GST, the Panchayati Raj institutions has faced a big loss of their income through the collection of the tax or cess from the entertainment sectors like cinema theatres, entertainment parks and other institutions. The huge amount of income of local self-government has been reduced because of the GST. So that is why I am asking to the ministry whether the ministry has any plan of a special assistant to the these Panchayati Raj institutions. If so, the exact amount of the assistance, please say the House.
I think after the 14th Finance Commission, the devolution going to the Panchayati Raj institutions, in fact, directly has actually gone up. So there's nothing more that I can add as an answer to the Honourable Member beyond that.
Thank you. The next supplementary is by Dr. L. Hanumanthaya.
Good Chairman, sir. Sir, the tax and cess by the state government and central government. See, for example, the road tax, the state government is putting on all the vehicles. Heavy road tax is being collected. Second, the toll is collected from the central government. Third, the state highways have started collecting the tolls also. So my question is, what is the deadline to stop either these cess or the taxes which is being collected by the governments, and whether there is a coordination between the state government and central government by applying these kind of cess to the customers, those who are paying double, triple on the same point, especially the road taxes which I am talking about. Thank you, madam.
Normally, toll and toll-related issues are discussed with the road because the specific question relates to roads. The Ministry of Surface Transport and also the states do talk to themselves about the toll collection, any mismatches and so on. So at this stage, this is the reply I can give, but if there's more, I'll have the Ministry of Roads talk to the Honourable Member.
The next supplementary is by Jawahar Sarkar.
Thank you, sir. While thanking the Minister for the reply given, I have two sharp questions. One is in support of what Ms. Kanimodi has said, that it is a long-standing demand that cesses be stopped being taken unilaterally by the centre. In a federal system that has evolved for over 75 years, we need to take a fresh look at it, and cesses are often charged to make bridge finance. She knows it, I know it, we know it. Now, coming to this, when you mention that more than cesses collected are actually going to the state, not devolved, but going to the state as central sector grants, I'll give you only one example, madam. We have started with the education cess, which is the bulk of it. With so much education cess and with so much revenues coming to the central government, the total expenditure on education has not touched 1% of the GDP. Not 1%, it was 1% last year, it has come down to less than 1%. And the cash-starved states that do not have cash, put together have contributed 3.5% of the GDP to education. I am only appealing to you as somebody who's from a constituent from some state or the other, that can the responsibility be so lopsided? 3.5% by the states put together.
Put your supplementary, Mr. Sarkar.
The reconsideration of cess being used specifically to target those sectors that are falling short of the national demand, the long-term demand. That's all. Thank you.
So, the question brings in so many elements which are not strictly in the domain of the finance ministry. National demand. Maybe anything. National demand can be anything from one section of the society versus another. I have no disputes with it. But I'm here to talk about the quantum of cess that we've collected, the purpose for which it was collected, and has it been spent or not. I've answered that question even for the Honorable Member Kanimuri. Now, if there are questions related to is it 1%, is it 2%, very well asked. But my question does not pertain, the core question does not pertain to any of this.
The next question, 168. First supplementary, Mr. Modi.
Sir, Madam has answered, the department has answered that about 62,000 crore of Vivo Mobile India has been remitted to China and their controlled territories. I want to know from the government, apart from Vivo Mobiles, which are other Chinese companies who have remitted money to China and its controlled territories, and how much is the amount involved? So number one, which are the other mobile companies who have transferred their money to China, and what is the amount which has been transferred, apart from Vivo?
The statement has some details which is already laid, but I just want to add some details. The DRI has raised or issued a notice to Oppo, the mobile company, for a total customs duty of 4,389 crores. And these are on the grounds of misdeclaration of certain goods, leading to a short payment in customs duty. That duty evasion we think is about 2,981 crores. Undervaluation of imported goods, sir, for the purpose of payment of customs duty, that we think is an evasion of 1,408 crores. So that is for Oppo. I may add here that voluntarily they have come about to deposit 450 crores, much against the total that is running in 4,000 crores, 4,389 crore. That's the demand. They have only given 450 crores. The other two companies whose attention I'd like to draw in the context of the question that Shri Modi has asked is, Xiaomi is the other technology company, mobile phone company, which I think deals with the assembled Mi brand mobile phones. 3 show cause notices have been issued to them, and the approximate duty liability there is about 653 crores. And for the 3 show cause notice which have been issued, they've deposited only 46 lakhs. And a third company is Vivo India, for whom also there is a demand notice given for 2,217 crores, for which they have deposited 60 crore as voluntary deposit. So these are, and besides this, the ED is looking at 18 companies that were established by the same group, Vivo, and there they have voluntarily remitted 62 lakh crore as deposit, but the parent company outside of India, for the total sales which has happened, 1.25 lakh crore. Of the 1.25 lakh crore, which is the total sale, remitted, this Vivo has transferred through these 18 companies huge amount of funds, and it is believed that Vivo India has in turn remitted 0.62 lakh crores to its parent company, which is outside of India.
Second supplementary.
So my second question, Madam has answered that CBIC has booked 43 companies and CBDT has booked 5 group of telecom sectors companies. I would like to know, out of these 43 companies of booked by CBIC and 5 group companies by CBDT, how many Chinese companies are there and what is the amount involved in that tax evasion?
Sir, actually
There are DRI investigations on very many telecom companies. In the 43 companies, there are mixed quite a lot of companies of different shareholding, different country of origin and so on. But I would just want to draw at this stage the attention of the Honourable Member for the duties that we are levying on them. Customs duty, there are about 68 cases totaling to 1,342 crores. GST related evasion matters 591 crores and service tax related evasion 5.58 crores. The CBDT and also the CBIC are all acting on them.
Yes, supplementary. Sir Sujit Kumar, supplementary.
Honorable Member Sushil Modi's question highlights a very important concern, and my question is not strictly connected to that, but it has wider connection to that question, so I seek your indulgence. Sir, in recent months, we have had many newspaper reports of many dubious digital loan apps, and as per these reports, most of them have links to China, and these are backed by Chinese entities. Sir, I'll give an example, and they do not follow the RBI guidelines while lending these unscrupulous loans. I'll give an example, sir. In recent months, there was a request from Government of Odisha Economic Offences Wing, and based on that, there was a lookout notice for a Chinese national called Miss Yu Li, who ran a chain of loan apps, digital loan apps, having funny names, Jojo app, Yovo app, Golden Lightning app, and there were 1.5 lakh downloads in the state of Odisha alone. And this is not a Odisha specific challenge and concern, sir. It has concerns across the country. And given the state of financial literacy in our country, I think this is a very significant concern. So my question to Honourable Minister is our regulatory framework not adequate enough to tackle this loan fraud apps, loan fraud cases, and particularly when these have Chinese origins and Chinese connections? Thank you.
No, this does not pertain to the core question, but it is a genuine concern that the Honourable Member of Parliament has raised. And I can only say that from the point of view of the loan-related issues, apps being misused, particularly coming from, originating from one particular country, and as a result, a lot of our citizens being harassed, money is being extorted from them, and these apps, rightly being pointed out, being downloaded in, say, one Orissa, that is the number. There are other states in which reports are coming in. Ministry of Finance, Corporate Affairs, MeitY, and a few other departments, inclusive of Home, are all constantly discussing and working to ensure action is taken. I would only broadly indicate, not get into some specifics here, broadly indicate in the recent past, only a couple of months ago, particularly in the state of Telangana, a lot of people have been put to harassment, and in those actions have been initiated. That's not to say we are not taking action elsewhere. We are consciously taking actions against Indian citizens who have also helped in having these companies established, and what may be broadly defined as shell companies through which they are operating. So action in all these angles are being taken, but that is how far I can answer at this stage.
Thank you. The supplementary by Vijay Sai Reddy.
Sir, in the light of the fact that DRI, Income Tax Department, GST, all these government investigating agencies have issued notices to different mobile companies, I would like to know from the Honourable Finance Minister what steps the government is taking to make the corporate governance framework accountable and transparent to prevent the corporates from evading the customs duty and tax evasion at the inception itself, because it has been unearthed after considerable lapse of time Now, therefore, the notices have been issued. This could have been avoided if at all it has been unearthed in the inception itself. And has there been any assessment as to how much money India has lost due to tax evasion by these corporates? And if so, please provide the details of the same. And if not, what are the reasons therefore for it? Thank you very much.
Sir, again, I'm not running away from answering, but this is not really core to the question that has been asked. However, I can only say there has not been any assessment done by us about the total evasion because of these kind of things. And I take the honorable member's point about couldn't you prevent it by detecting it earlier? Yes, the systems probably will have to be improved to be able to detect it earlier itself.
Thank you. Dr. Fauzia Khan.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister that the investigation in the case of the Oppo Mobile Telecommunications Corporation Limited is said to have further revealed that Oppo India had remitted or made provisions for the payment of royalty and license fee to various multinational companies, including those based in China, instead of using proprietary technology. The said royalty and license fees paid by Oppo India were not being added in the transaction value of goods imported by them, in violation of Section 14 of the Customs Act 1962, and the duty evasion by the mobile maker of this account came up to has the government taken or proposes to take on account of this?
Various angularities through which evasion is detected and also recognized are part of what the ministry is looking at to see how best these can be plugged, the loopholes can be plugged so that evasion is contained. So there is a larger exercise in general which is going on in the ministry about understanding how evasion, not just in this case, but also many such companies which have the group companies elsewhere, how are these kind of payments being avoided and so on. So larger aspects are being looked into, but I wouldn't want to get into details at this stage.
Thank you. Question number 169. Anil Desai. Absent. Minister. Supplementary, Sri Arun Singh.
कि जो अल्टरनेट एनर्जी है जिसके बारे में डिटेल रखा गया, क्या उत्तर प्रदेश में कोई स्टडी ऐसी की गई है क्या कि जो विंध्य पर्वत है वहाँ पे जो विंड एनर्जी है उसका जनरेशन कितना हो सकता है, और उसके बाद कोई असेसमेंट ऐसा कोई ऐसी भी डिटेल्स है क्या कितना उसमें अभी कितने गीगावाट की कैपेसिटी के प्लांट लगे हैं और आगे क्या संभावना है इस प्रकार से?
माननीय सदस्य ने जो सवाल उठाया है, तो हम लोगों का एक नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ विंड एनर्जी है जो कि जगह जगह सर्वे करता है कि कहाँ कहाँ कितना विंड पोटेंशियल है। वो स्पेसिफिक विंध्या पर्वत पर वो सर्वे हुआ या नहीं या उसका क्या निष्कर्ष निकले, ये मैं पता करके माननीय सदस्य को बता दूंगा।
संजय सिंह।
और मैं आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं कि आपने इसमें थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स के भी जिक्र किए हैं, लेकिन अभी पिछले दिनों एक आदेश जारी किया गया आपके मंत्रालय की तरफ से कि राज्य सरकारें यानी कि पंजाब सरकार में पिछली सरकारों ने खजाना खाली कर रखा है, 10% आपने आयात का नियम बाध्यकारी कर दिया और ये कह दिया कि अगर आप 10% कोयला आयात नहीं करते तो आपको कोयला, हिंदुस्तान का कोयला, कोल इंडिया का कोयला नहीं मिलेगा। मान्यवर, मैं आपके माध्यम से बड़ी विनम्रता पूर्वक मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं कि जब कोल इंडिया ने साफ तौर पे कहा है कि 32% उसका उत्पादन बढ़ा है, यानी कि 32% प्रोडक्शन कोल इंडिया का बढ़ा है, फिर आप भारत का कोयला राज्य सरकारों को, पंजाब को, दूसरे राज्यों को क्यों नहीं दे रहे हैं? क्यों आप विदेशों से कोयला आयात करने के लिए राज्यों को बाध्य कर रहे हैं?
अध्यक्ष महोदय, हम लोगों का जो एनर्जी कंजम्पशन है उसमें बढ़ोतरी करीब करीब 21% हुई है पिछले कुछ महीनों में, जो कि एक रिकॉर्ड है। और ये जो बढ़ोतरी है, ये बढ़ोतरी शुरू से चली आ रही है। 13-14 में हम लोगों का कंजम्पशन होता था करीब 935 बिलियन यूनिट। आज वो बढ़ करके हो गया है 1400 या उससे ज़्यादा बिलियन यूनिट, करीब 45% बढ़ा है। 2013-14 में जो था उससे 45% इंक्रीज किया है। आज पिछले कुछ महीनों में काफ़ी इंक्रीज किया है। तो कोल प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज किया है, लेकिन उतना नहीं इंक्रीज किया है कि हमारा जो इंक्रीज डिमांड है उसको पूरा मीट कर सके। अगर हम आज के दिन में हमारा जो स्टॉक है वो करीब 23 मिलियन टन है डोमेस्टिक कोल का। अगर हम इसको ब्लेंडिंग नहीं करते तो हमारा आज ये स्टॉक रहता 7.8 मिलियन टन, यानी कि जो मिनिमम है उसके आसपास हम रहते। जो स्थिति महीने में जो सबको याद है, जिस समय कि 8 मिलियन टन घट करके हो गया था, तो उतने तक आ जाता। अभी प्रतिदिन जो एवरेज हमारे पिछले 3 महीने का रहा है, ये पिछले महीने या जो जुलाई खत्म हुआ उसमें प्रतिदिन जो हमारा कोयले का कंजम्पशन है और डोमेस्टिक कोल का जो अराइवल है उसमें करीब 1,20,000 टन का शॉर्टफॉल है। तो अगर हम नहीं इंपोर्ट करते तो आज हमारे यहाँ ये व्यापक लोड शेडिंग हो रहा होता है, जैसे कि अगल बगल के कुछ देशों में हो रहा है, लेकिन ये हम लोगों ने कर्टेल कर लिया।
वीरेंद्र प्रसाद बशिया।
Thank you, Chairman, sir. I don't know why some level, sir. No mic, sir.
Yes, we are listening, please. दूसरा ले लीजिए।
ये भी नहीं है। आप बोलना शुरू करो।
बटन चालू कर दीजिए, व्हाइट बटन।
ये नहीं। हाँ। Honorable Chairman, sir, thank you. Sure, hydro power generation, thermal power generation, nuclear power generation, and renewable power generation is the power generation sources of our country, sir. So, renewable energy, power generation from the renewable energy is the core of the hour, sir. Developed countries like Germany, they have given goodbye to nuclear energy and they have given priority to renewable energy. I want to know from Honorable Minister, in current financial years, how many money allocated for the development, for the renewable and the power generation from the renewable energy in our country, especially how many money renewable power generation for the northeastern region of our country.
इतना हमारा अभी निर्माणाधीन है। लद्दाख में हमने योजना बनाई है करीब 10,000 मेगावाट सोलर और विंड हाइब्रिड को स्थापित करने के लिए। उसके निष्कासन, उतने एनर्जी के निष्कासन के लिए हमको ट्रांसमिशन लाइन बनानी होगी। तो ट्रांसमिशन लाइन बनाने के लिए हम लोगों ने ये सर्वे वगैरह ये करा लिया है। बाय एंड लार्ज उसका जो एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट है वो भी आ गया है और उसमें कुछ हमको VGF देना पड़ेगा क्योंकि ट्रांसमिशन कॉस्ट कुछ अधिक है, तो उसका भी स्वीकृति हम लोग कर रहे हैं। तो जैसे ही ट्रांसमिशन लाइन हमारा ये बनने के कंप्लीट होने के कगार पर होगा तो हम अपना वहां पर क्षमता स्थापित कर देंगे।
Thank you. Question number 170.
70, sir.
Minister. First supplementary.
Sir, the WHO has flagged LGBTQ community as high risk for contracting the illness. So I would like to know from the Minister, sir, through you, sir, whether the government intends to take any concrete steps specifically to address the already vulnerable group of LGBTQ, and if so, I would like to know the details.
माननीय डेप्यूटी चेयरमैन साहब, मंकी पॉक्स डिसीज़ ये इंडिया में और दुनिया में एक न्यू डिसीज़ नहीं है और 1970 से दुनिया में अफ्रीका से लेके दुनिया के कई कंट्री में ये केस दिखाई दे रहा है और वर्तमान समय में मई महीने में दुनिया की कई कंट्री में जब केस दिखने लगा तब WHO ने उसके ऊपर विशेष ध्यान दिया और उसके ऊपर निगरानी करना शुरू किया। उसके तहत इंडिया में भी उसके ऊपर निगरानी शुरू हुई है। एक केस और ये डिसीज़ डीप कॉन्टैक्ट से स्प्रेड होता है। माँ को होता है तो बच्चे को होने की संभावना होती है, हस्बैंड को होता है तो वाइफ को होने की संभावना होती है। कोई स्पेसिफिक समुदाय या तो स्पेसिफिक को ही हो ऐसा नहीं है, डीप कॉन्टैक्ट जिसको हो उसको होने की संभावना होती है और इस तरह से ये केस फैलता है और उसमें इंडिया में भी उसके ऊपर निगरानी रखी जा रही है।
Second supplementary.
Specifically LGBTQ, but it's okay. Sir, in the reply, it is nice that the government has already approach and a number of steps have been taken to minimize for the importation of this disease, of the monkeypox disease. So there are 7 key steps that they have taken, which the minister has enumerated in the replies. So specifically, one, I would like to ask question that all airport and port health officers have been instructed to remain vigilant and undertake rigorous health screening of incoming international passengers. Through you, sir, I would like to ask the minister, we have addressed the international passengers. How about the passengers who fly on domestic flights? Thank you, sir.
माननीय डेप्यूटी चेयरमैन सर, ये डिसीज़ और कोविड क्राइसिस ने हमें सिखाया है हमें एडवांस सतर्क कैसे रहना। कोई भी डिसीज़ फैले और फैलते हुए रोकने के लिए उसकी पूर्व तैयारी करना बहुत आवश्यक है। जैसा मैंने बताया कि दुनिया में जब केस दिखाई देने लगा तब इंडिया ने उसकी पहले से ही तैयारी शुरू कर दी। मई महीने में दुनिया में केस दिखा था। इंडिया में फर्स्ट केस 14 जुलाई को केरला में दिखाई दिया, लेकिन उसके पहले 31 मई 2022 में हमने सभी स्टेट को, नॉट ओनली फॉर इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट बट सभी स्टेट को गाइडलाइन दी गई। गाइडलाइन के तहत उसको कैसे सर्वेलेंस करना है, अपने स्टेट में कोई केस आए तो उसको कैसे निगरानी रखना है, उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रेसिंग कैसे करना है, और केस के कोई सिम्टम वाले केस है और उसका सैंपल लिया गया तो सैंपल को हमें किस तरह से रख के उसको आगे भेजना है। और पुणे हमारी वायरोलॉजिकल इंस्टीट्यूट है, उसको नोडल इंस्टीट्यूट के रूप में डिक्लेयर कर दिया और उसके अलावा देश के विविध पार्ट में 15 ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट है जहाँ भी उसका टेस्टिंग हो सके। इस सारी व्यवस्था हमने कर ली। उसके अलावा जब इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट से, क्योंकि आज दिन तक देश में कुल मिला के 8 केस डिटेक्ट हुए हैं, 8 केस में से 5 केस ऐसे हैं जिसकी हिस्ट्री फॉरेन ट्रैवल की है, यानी कि दुबई से, शारजाह से ट्रैवल किया है और वहाँ से ट्रैवल करके जब आते हैं, जब एयरपोर्ट पर हम उसका थर्मल स्क्रीनिंग करते हैं। लेकिन कई बार डिसीज़ में हमने कोविड के दरमियान भी देखा और अभी भी देख रहे हैं कि वहाँ से के वो दिखाते नहीं है, पैरासीटामोल टेबलेट ले लेते हैं और वो थर्मल स्क्रीनिंग में आते नहीं और देश में केस एंटर कर जाते हैं। तो इस तरह से ना हो इसलिए हमने दुबई गवर्नमेंट को भी लिखा कि वहाँ से भी कोई वहाँ से ट्रैवल करे कोई भी कंट्री में तो उसका भी वहाँ से ट्रेसिंग करके उसका रिपोर्ट हमें भी भेजा जाए ताकि हम उसको अच्छी तरह से निगरानी कर पाए। आज दिन तक जो भी केस आए हैं तो हमने तुरंत ही यहाँ से केरला में केस दिखाई दिया, भारत सरकार की ओर से यहाँ से एक एक्सपर्ट टीम भेजी गई, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को मदद किया, जिस केस जहाँ जिस फैमिली में मिला था उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रेसिंग किया। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रेसिंग करने से और किसी को तो उसकी इफेक्ट नहीं हुई है ना। ऐसा करके हमने डिटेल कार्यवाही की है। जो हमें कोविड क्राइसिस ने सिखाया उसका बेस्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हम मंकी पॉक्स में कर रहे हैं। और मंकी पॉक्स एक ऐसा डिसीज है, वो ज़्यादा रिस्क नहीं है, हम थोड़ा सा भी सतर्क रहे कि एक फैमिली में आई रिप्लाइंग टू फैमिली में किसी को हुआ है और उसको ट्रेसिंग कर ले और बाकी लोग उससे थोड़े समय के लिए उसका 12-13 दिन के लिए उसके अंतर बना के रखे तो उसको कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है। और मेरी अपेक्षा है कि सतर्कता के आधार पर हम उसको अच्छी तरह से कंट्रोल करें।
दोनों माननीय सदस्य ने वो डोमेस्टिक पैसेंजर्स का भी बोला, तो आपने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय और डोमेस्टिक दोनों का कवर किया।
हाँ,
थैंक यू। द सप्लीमेंट्री बाय G.K. Vasan.
To the minister is, though it's not a serious disease, the concern is it should not spread, especially small towns and villages. I would like to tell the minister that there is no knowledge about this to the people. I would request the central government health ministry to have a meeting with all the state governments, health ministry, and see that more awareness, advertisement given to the rural people so that they adhere to the guidelines of the government on both COVID still and monkeypox.
तो माननीय सदस्य ने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण क्वेश्चंस राइज किया है। स्वाभाविक है कोई भी डिसीज़ उसको हल्के से नहीं लेना चाहिए, उसको सीरियस ही लेना चाहिए और देश के कोई व्यक्ति का कोई भी डिसीज़ से मृत्यु न हो, हम सब चाहे। और मंकी पॉक्स डिसीज़ के संदर्भ में भी पब्लिक अवेयरनेस बहुत आवश्यक है। भारत सरकार की ओर से नीति आयोग के मेंबर के अध्यक्षता में हमने एक टास्क फोर्स भी बना दिया है। टास्क फोर्स के आधार पर वो समय समय पर उसका आकलन करते, स्टडी करते। मैंने भी और सभी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को लेटर भी लिखा है, तब जाके अपने स्टेट में भी उसके अवेयरनेस के कार्यक्रम चलाए, पब्लिक को अवेयर करें। कई एक्सपर्ट लोग भी टेलीविज़न के माध्यम से पब्लिक अवेयरनेस करके डीप कॉन्टेक्ट से ऐसे कोई संदिग्ध केस है तो उससे दूर रहे। दूर केवल इतना ही रहना है कि उसके जो नज़दीक के लोग हैं वो उसके अंतर बनाए रखे, बाकी घबराने की आवश्यकता नहीं। कई बार ऐसा होता है कि कई लोग ज़्यादा बोलने से, ऐसा तैसा बोलने से पब्लिक में एक फियर आ जाता है, डर आ जाता है। एक केस के मंकी पॉक्स के संदर्भ में डरने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है। भारत सरकार की ओर से स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ कंसल्टेशन करके, बातचीत करके पब्लिक को स्टेट कंट्री में अवेयरनेस किया जा रहा है ताकि एक डिसीज को आगे बढ़ते हुए हम रोक सकें।
सप्लीमेंट्री बाय संतोष कुमार P.
If you go through the globally reported 18,000 cases, the monkeypox is mainly affecting younger generation everywhere in the world. So have you noticed this? Because the older generation got vaccinated due to cowpox, smallpox, and similar kind of diseases. So younger generation are the most vulnerable section. So have you noticed this? And would you like to get them vaccinated as early as possible?
माननीय डेप्यूटी चेयरमैन सर, मंकी पॉक्स वो स्मॉल पॉक्स के नज़दीक का डिसीज़ है और स्मॉल पॉक्स के लिए टीका का रिसर्च हुआ था। मंकी पॉक्स के लिए अभी टीका का रिसर्च बहुत लिमिटेड रूप में किया गया है, या तो वो अभी एकदम लिमिटेड स्टडीज़ ऑन द एफिकेसी एंड सेफ्टी पर काम हो रहा है। केवल जब यूरोप में ज़्यादा केस दिखाई दे रहा है, आज कुल मिला के दुनिया में 78 कंट्री में 18,000 केस आइडेंटिफाई किए गए, उसमें से 5 से 6 लोगों की मृत्यु हुई है। और जहां एक केस ज़्यादा दिखाई दे रहा है, एक कंट्री में एक अभी कोई उसका डिटेल स्टडी नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन एक अंकारा जो एक स्मॉल पॉक्स का वैक्सीन था उसके नज़दीक का एक वैक्सीन वो आज लगाना शुरू किया है। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रेसिंग करके जो नज़दीक के लोग हैं उसको लगाया जाता है, लेकिन वो डिटेल स्टडी करके बना हुआ वैक्सीन नहीं है। और WHO ने भी कहा है कि उसका सार्वजनिक वैक्सीनेशन करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। जहां एक कोई ऐसा केस आइडेंटिफाई किया जाए तो उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रेसिंग करके नज़दीक वाले लोगों को वैक्सीनेशन करना है। वो यूरोप में हो रहा है, इंडिया में भी एक वायरस को, मंकी पॉक्स वायरस को आइसोलेटेड हमारे साइंटिस्टों ने कर लिया है और उन्होंने ICMR ने एक एक्सप्रेस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट भी फ्लोट किया है, जैसा कोरोना वायरस के लिए किया था। जब पहले वायरस को आइसोलेटेड किया जाता है, आइसोलेटेड करके रिसर्च और उसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोडक्शन के लिए उसको और इंस्टीट्यूट को बुलाई जाती है। ऐसी सभी देश की इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए एक एक्सप्रेस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट फ्लोट किया है। उसके आधार पर जो भी हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट, जो भी हमारे साइंटिस्ट आगे आएंगे, उसको आइसोलेटेड किया हुआ वायरस उसको दिया जाएगा, ताकि वो देश में ही मंकी पॉक्स वैक्सीन का रिसर्च कर सके और बना सके। माननीय डिप्टी चेयरमैन साहब, ये देश के ताकत है और क्षमता भी है। जैसे हमारे साइंटिस्ट पर हमें भरोसा भी है, यही साइंटिस्ट ने, हमारे देश के ही साइंटिस्ट ने कोरोना वायरस को आइसोलेट करके रिसर्च भी कर लिया और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी कर लिया था, वैसे ही मंकी पॉक्स वायरस को आइसोलेटेड किया गया है और भविष्य में उसका रिसर्च करके वैक्सीन भी हमारे साइंटिस्ट बनाएंगे, ऐसी हमारी अपेक्षा है और मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारा देश उसके ऊपर खरे उतरेंगे।
जोश के मनी।
Thank you, sir. Sir, as you know, the Kerala is a extended city. It is a tourist destination. It is a pilgrim's destination. And so the floating crowd is very large. Domestically and international people come over there. And so Kerala is prone to communicable diseases like this. So my question to the minister is, will the central give some assistance to the government of Kerala, especially if a suspected case comes over there, we send the sample to Pune. Generally, it takes about more than a week's time for the confirmation. By the time, probably there could be outbreak.
Yeah.
So my question to the minister is, could you allot a new virology center and research center for the state of Kerala, especially the Center Travancore, the state of the district of Kottayam?
Limited question.
माननीय डिप्टी चेयरमैन सर, आज हमने 15 इंस्टीट्यूट को आइडेंटिफाई कर दिया है और आवश्यकता होगी तो और भी इंस्टीट्यूट को हम मंकी पॉक्स वायरस को टेस्ट करने के लिए आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे। केरल गवर्नमेंट हमारे लिए देश की सभी गवर्नमेंट, ये भारत का ही, हिंदुस्तान का ही एक स्टेट है। केरल गवर्नमेंट को भारत सरकार की ओर से साइंटिफिक जिस प्रकार की सपोर्ट की आवश्यकता हो, भारत सरकार की ओर से सपोर्ट दिया जाएगा। अभी भी भारत सरकार की ओर से ही एक्सपर्ट टीम स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को समय समय पर गाइड कर रही है।
क्वेश्चन नंबर 171, सोनाल मानसिंह।
Thank you, sir.
Minister.
Question 171.
सर, उत्तर सभा पटल पर रख दिया है।
First supplementary.
So my question to the minister is that is wider distribution and outreach of Ayushman cards targeted especially in the 75th year of independence?
Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir, जो सवाल ऑनरेबल महोदय ने पूछा है कि कार्ड्स रिलेटेड आयुष्मान भारत कार्ड, मैं बहुत गर्वान्वित होकर इस सदन को कहना चाहूँगी कि आयुष्मान भारत ये सिर्फ हमारे देश की नहीं तो दुनिया की सबसे लार्जेस्ट गवर्नमेंट फंडेड हेल्थ एश्योरेंस स्कीम है। बहुत ही अच्छा काम इस स्कीम के माध्यम से हो रहा है, लेकिन माननीय सदस्य ने बहुत अच्छा सवाल उठाया है कि इसके कार्ड का वितरण। मैं सभी सदस्यों को इस माध्यम से कहना चाहूँगी कि आज तक हमारे लगभग 18 करोड़ कार्ड्स वितरित हुए हैं और ज़्यादा कार्ड हमें वितरित करने हैं। इसके लिए हमें बहुत काम करना होगा और गवर्नमेंट काम कर रही है, क्योंकि हर घर दस्तक जैसा अभियान चला, उसी तरह ये कार्ड वितरण के लिए भी आपके द्वारा आयुष्मान योजना चली।
Thank you. Question hour is over. House stands adjourned till 2 p.m.
मिड डे प्राइम के प्रायोजक हैं IME गाजियाबाद 27 years of excellence in higher education और बैंक ऑफ इंडिया।
Good afternoon. Your Excellency Ibrahim Mohammed Soli, President of the Republic of Maldives, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this ceremony where we shall witness a few shining examples of India-Maldives bilateral cooperation in the form of development projects and exchange of MOUs agreements. This would be followed by press statements by our two leaders. We begin the program by watching a video clip presenting an overview of India-Maldives development cooperation.
India has been a key partner in the socio-economic and infrastructural development of the Maldives. Several key projects have been completed in the past under this partnership. The National College for Policing and Law Enforcement in Addu is India's largest grant project in the Maldives. Our bilateral partnership has made significant strides in recent years, with a number of major development projects currently being carried out in the Maldives under Indian assistance. Among these, a road and drainage development project is being undertaken in Addu city. Under this project, a drainage system of 103 kilometers will be built, helping to alleviate flooding experience during seasonal rains. In addition, 107 kilometers of road will be developed by the end of August 2023. The project for reclamation and shore protection in Addu was initiated in March 2022. It will create close to 200 hectares of land that will further contribute to development of Addu as a hub of economic activity in southern Maldives. India is also aiding the design and development of water and sewerage facilities across 34 islands in the Maldives. It is the largest climate adaptation initiative being carried out in the Maldives under concessional credit of over $100 million. This project is closely linked to improving the well-being and livelihoods of communities across the country. India is happy to support efforts to preserve Maldivian culture and heritage, as evidenced by the Project for Conservation and Preservation of Malay Friday Mosque. Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered assistance for this project during his visit to the Maldives in 2019. This project is being carried out with technical support from the Archaeological Survey of India, and the project is estimated to be concluded by July 2023. India has been a true ally and trusted development partner of the Maldives. Long live the Maldives-India partnership.
Next, we shall witness a video clip on the landmark Greater Malay Connectivity Project in Maldives.
India and Maldives enjoy a strong bilateral relationship. Both countries share sturdy cultural links, and the bilateral relations have been nurtured and strengthened by regular contacts at the highest levels. As part of its Neighborhood First policy, India is focused on delivering benefits like greater connectivity, improved infrastructure, and broader people-to-people contacts in Maldives. The Greater Malay Connectivity Project aims to connect the capital Malé with adjoining islands of Vilingili, Gulifalu, and Tilafushi. This will decongest Malé while helping in the development of a port at Gulifalu, which is also being funded through an Indian line of credit. At Gulifalu, the government of Maldives is also planning a residential township. The Greater Malay Connectivity Project is being funded by an Indian grant and a line of credit. This development cooperation is based on Maldives' priorities. The project is being executed by Indian infrastructure major AFCONs. The Greater Malay Connectivity Project involves construction of a 6.69 kilometer sea connecting link, including 3.6 kilometers of marine viaduct with navigation bridge spans and 3 kilometers of at-grade roads. A wide variety of marine fleet has already been deployed in the project. A significant amount of additional marine equipment will be mobilized as the project progresses. The Greater Malay Connectivity Project is a testament to a deep and enduring India-Maldives relationship. It's a strong reflection of a shared commitment to development and democracy, and to a partnership that delivers.
I now request both the leaders to kindly mark pouring of the first concrete of the project by jointly pressing the launch button. Thank you, sir. Next, we shall view a video clip prepared to review the progress on construction of 4,000 social housing units being okay. Next, we shall view a video clip prepared to review the progress on construction of 4,000 social housing units being constructed in Hudumale.
Providing affordable social housing is among the priority pledges of Government of Maldives. In order to enhance the quality of life of the residents of Greater Male region, the Government of Maldives has initiated the development of 4,000 housing units under two projects: FDC JMC Housing Project and FDC NBCC Housing Project. The projects are supported by India through a bias credit facility from the Exim Bank of India. The extension of India-Maldives cooperation to the social housing sector stems from our flourishing development partnership. Located in Hudumale Phase 2, the two projects will comprise the development of 2,000 housing units each. Both projects will consist of 900 square feet 3-bedroom units and 650 square feet 2-bedroom units. FDC JMC housing project is valued at $137 million.